Hey everyone, my name's Chris. I'm the creator of One Night, Two Crazies. I'm going to real quick go over how sanity works in my game and how the game differs from Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, Five Nights at Freddy's is a great game, but it's primarily a horror game. The challenge is just not there. The enemies can bounce around. They don't follow obvious movements. You know, they'll go from one camera space and they'll jump 4 spaces down and be at your door. Now, while that's scary because you can't figure out where they're going to be, it's not fun to be tricked like that. In my game, you get beat by the enemies. They actually outsmart you. They don't just randomly jump around and then you, oh crap, I didn't see them on the cameras. No. They move in very specific patterns. They try to outmaneuver you. Now, in Five Nights at Freddy's, you have 2 doors. In my game, you just have 1 door, but there's 2 entrances to the hallway where it is. Now, every time you're looking at the cameras, nothing bad happens to you. At Five Nights at Freddy's, you lose power for looking at the cameras. When you play on the hardest setting, the only reason you look at the camera is to prevent one of the enemies from sprinting at you. Otherwise, you just check the doors and eventually you win. It's really not that difficult. Now, with my game, you employ that strategy, you're not going to win. You're going to lose very, very quickly because the only time you get penalized is when you look for enemies coming into the hallway or shut the door. You actually lose a lot the longer you keep the door shut. So as soon as you hear them run away, you got to open that door up and immediately get back to your cameras to figure out where they are before they start moving again. Now let's talk about enemy movements. Oh, I also forgot. As the sanity gets lower, the game starts to mess with you. Five Nights at Freddy's, you don't have sanity, you just have power. When the power runs out, you pretty much are going to lose unless it's close to the end. With my game, it's the same kind of thing when it reaches 0, but before it gets to 0, it does wacky things to you. It penalizes you in funny ways. For example, when you're switching between rooms, randomly blood could drip down the camera, slowing down how long it takes to move between rooms. Only temporarily, and it's supposed to scare you a little bit, but those are one of several things that can happen to you the lower you let your sanity go. And the lower you let it go, the worse thing you get. So you want to prolong that as much as possible. Now, how do you do that? How do you keep from checking the hallway? You know, in Five Nights at Freddy's, you can keep checking the lights and then check the camera. You're not really penalized for that at all. It's when you shut the door you're penalized. In my game, just looking really penalizes you. So you have to figure out a way to figure out where they are without looking. So let's look at the map really, really quick. We'll draw this out, make sure you can see that. That's where you are, and you're looking in your hallway. Now, the enemies move like this. So there's 2 entrances to the hallway. Oops, I messed that up. That's not connected. That's the bathroom to the bedroom. So if an enemy's here, he can only move 2 places. If you're watching him, when his screen blinks, and if they blink at set intervals that get slightly faster each level, when he moves from here, he's going to be here or here. In Five Nights at Freddy's, if it was an equivalent map, if he was here, he could blink all the way to your hallway without you knowing. Okay? There are tells in that game for when that happens, but I think that's unfair. I don't think that's fun. I want people to see that they're there and say, okay, he can move here or here. I'm safe for 2 turns, because it's going to take him 1-2 turns to get to me, or he might start moving back around in there and not come at me. So if I have somebody else right here, I know, hey, for 2 turns, I can keep a bead on this guy and not worry about this one. And then I can go back and check to see if he went to the kitchen where he has an opportunity to get to me. So that's the kind of strategy you can employ. Five Nights at Freddy's, it's not like that at all because the 2 enemies don't affect each other. In my game, they can bump into each other, they can block each other. Only one of them can get to you at a time. It's just completely different. Now, I know it's the same genre. I know it's based on the same thing. But I mean, look at any platform game where you jump on someone's head. It's based on Mario, right? People knew that was a fun mechanic, and they tried to do other things with it. So that's my game. I'm not thinking of anything else to talk about right now. I mean, as the game gets harder, the enemies start to move at slightly different speeds. The hockey man gets a little slower. The spider guy gets very fast. So it's harder to keep track of them. It's harder to time when you're looking between the cameras. But if you're watching someone and he's here, and you keep the camera focused on him, the minute it blinks, you know he's moved 1 space either way. And then he can go back to that spot the next turn. But the idea is that you don't know where they're going to go ever, except that you know their range. And I think that's key to this game. And that's the biggest difference between Five Nights at Freddy's, is you know the exact range of your enemies, and you know what moves are possible. So you have to very quickly, like chess, like speed chess, figure out where are they going to move, where could they move. So the difference, instead of chess, you don't know exactly which piece they moved. You got to figure it out. So that's the game. I hope you guys like it. I hope you guys can support me. Hey, if you don't, that's fine. Just click no. It's really not a big deal. Please avoid spamming me with crap about copying Five Nights at Freddy's. If you look at any game that's been created after another game it was based on, it's the same idea. You're just trying to improve upon it. I didn't like the way Five Nights at Freddy's was done. I wanted to do my own kind of game that was different and a little harder to play. Is it going to be the same production quality? Hell no. It's just me and a freaking camera and my crappy computer skills. So no, I don't have a production team building anything for me. Hopefully you can support me. Have fun, guys, on Steam.